Think about the last time you drove somewhere familiar, a route you have driven 100 times, and somewhere along the way you arrived and realized that you cannot remember most of the journey. Your mind was somewhere else entirely, while your hands and feet navigated with apparently perfect competence. That something driving you was your habit system. And it is doing this quietly and efficiently for a far larger proportion of your day than most people realize. Researchers have estimated that somewhere between 40 and 45% of the actions people take each day are not the result of deliberate decision-making. They are habits, automatic responses triggered by cues in the environment, running without conscious direction. Tonight, we look at what habits are at the level of the brain, how they form, why they persist, and what the research tells us about how change is actually possible. A habit is a behavior that has been repeated often enough that it has become automatic. The brain takes a sequence of separate actions and gradually compresses them into a single automatic unit. What were once dozens of individual decisions become one thing, triggered by a single cue. This process is called chunking. The brain does this because it is extraordinarily energy efficient. Automation is a feature. It frees conscious attention for the things that actually require it. Researchers at MIT identified a consistent three-part structure underlying almost all habitual behavior. A cue, a routine, a reward. The cue triggers the behavior. The routine is the behavior. The reward is what the brain receives at the end. And over time, the anticipation of the reward becomes associated with the cue. The cue does not merely signal that a behavior is available. It creates a desire. Once a habit is truly established in the basal ganglia, it never fully disappears. The neural pathway that encodes it remains in place even if the habit has not been performed for years. The habit has not been deleted. It has merely been dormant. Habits cannot really be broken. They can only be replaced. The cue and the craving remain. What can be changed is the routine that responds to them. White-knuckle willpower, simply trying harder not to do the unwanted thing, tends to be an ineffective strategy for habit change. Willpower is a finite resource. The habit, encoded in the basal ganglia, does not get tired. The more effective approach is to change the environment, to remove or alter the cues that trigger the unwanted habit, or to build a replacement routine so well established that it intercepts the cue before the old habit can. The most important variable in habit formation is not motivation or willpower. It is repetition in a consistent context. Research found that the time required for a new behavior to become automatic ranges from 18 days to 254 days, with an average of around 66 days. More than 2 months on average. Which means the frustration many people feel at 3 weeks, when a new behavior still requires effort, is normal and expected rather than evidence of failure. Rather than a vague intention, I will exercise more, form a specific plan. I will go for a 20-minute walk at 7 each morning, immediately after I make my coffee. By attaching the new behavior to an existing cue, you are preloading the connection rather than relying on willpower to make the decision fresh each day. Studies find people who form such plans are significantly more likely to follow through. Not because they are more motivated, but because they have reduced the cognitive load to almost nothing. Some habits, when established, trigger positive cascades in other areas of life. Regular exercise is the most cited example. People who establish a consistent exercise habit tend to spontaneously eat better, sleep better, and report reduced stress. You do not have to try to change everything at once. Find one keystone habit and establish it. The rest may follow more easily than you expected. The most durable habits are those connected to identity rather than outcomes. The person who says, "I am not a smoker," is in a different psychological position from the person who says, "I am trying to stop smoking." Every action you take is a vote for the kind of person you are becoming. And over time, the accumulation of those votes shapes who you genuinely believe yourself to be. Consider for a moment the habits that carried you through today. Many of these habits are good, the accumulated wisdom of your past self, passed forward as gifts of automation. And the habits that are not serving you well, they are not failures of character. They are patterns, patterns that formed for reasons. And patterns with patience and the right conditions can be changed. You are not your habits, but your habits are, day by day, shaping who you are becoming. For tonight, let the habits go. Let the day settle into stillness. Let your breathing slow. You are safe. You are resting. And tomorrow, the habits will be there, ready to carry you through another day, as they always are. Good night.